Hi, this is Alex, and in this video we're going to talk about how to get leads for your marketing, creative, and tech or software agencies. So we're going to talk about how to get leads for these service businesses so that you're better able to grow your business. And I'm going to cover the current 3 best funnels that we're using in the Business Mentor Insiders, which is a mastermind that I run for agencies. And these are not just some random little things that I Googled on the internet, obviously. I'm qualified to talk about this because over the last 4.5 years, we've been teaching funnels, we've been teaching how to build an online agency. And we figured out the 3 current best inbound funnels, because we used to do this thing with cold calling and had people call 150 companies per day. And if they didn't, we just kicked them out of the mastermind, right? We used to do that. And then we did things like cold email, which is still functional, but it's not ideal. What we do now is called inbound funnels. So the inbound funnels that we use, there's advanced ones like Facebook ads and really like complicated high investment stuff. And there's easy ones with extremely no or zero investment required. So we're going to be covering the ones that require extremely low or no investment whatsoever, okay? So the reason I'm going to talk about this is because every single day I get people messaging me and they say, Alex, I want to build an agency, or I already have an agency and we have like 3 people working on it, but we just don't get any clients. We don't get any calls. We're just struggling to do lead generation. And I'm always wondering why are people struggling with this? It's not that complicated. And because I've seen that people struggle with the thing that's definitely not the most complicated thing in a business, I decided to put this video out there to help you start. And maybe one day we'll do business together. So, because you'll be making money, obviously. So I want to share this for your benefit, but also sneakily for my own benefit later on, perhaps. So let's see how that works out. And what this video is about is we've noticed that when people join, they think the most important thing is what to sell. And they don't really know that business is not just about what to sell. There's like multiple levels to marketing, and all of these levels need to fit together. And if you don't make them fit together, for example, if you don't make the product fit together where you're selling it, then it's not likely that it's going to be a hit. But if you know that the market has a demand for a certain service or a certain product, and then you create the product or service, then it's a lot easier to make the match. This is a mistake that people keep making over and over. So if you know where to start, if you know the funnels you're going to use, you can know which markets you're going to reach there. And that's the way these funnels work. They're marketplaces, you could say. They're like oceans of clients. So if you start there, you can build your service from the ground up or improve your service from where it's at now to make it work in that marketplace. And it's a lot easier to work like this than to just say, I sell this and you're going to like it or else, right? Like, I'm going to sell this service because I'm passionate about it. I don't really know what the market wants, but I think I'm passionate about it. That doesn't really work. What does work is look at the market, figure out what exactly is in demand and how many people you could reach there, how many companies actually want what you would be selling, and then figure out an offer for that market. Again, very common mistake, and I'd just like you to avoid that because it's really not necessary. I spent years trying to sell stuff to people that they didn't really need until I figured out that I can just get them on calls and figure out a perfect message, a perfect platform, a perfect service and everything else, and it just works better than trying to force stuff down people's throats. So the way this will help you achieve your goals is as you're building your agency, you'll notice that some of the assumptions and some of the ideas that you may have had in the past don't really fit into reality. And then it's a time, just like I'm doing in my business all the time, it's time to look at your business, at yourself, and figure out if you're on the right path. And if you're not, that's fine. It's not a big deal at all because you don't have to know everything right now. You can grow organically in your business and pivot as is necessary to make adjustments to make it work for your market. What does all of this complicated terminology mean, Alex? What does that mean? Well, it just means as you're moving along and you get a client, maybe 2 clients, and then you notice the lead source dries up or people aren't really getting results, maybe it's time for a change. Or you notice some other problem in your business and it's not really something that can be fixed with more delivery or better skills or just hiring someone. It's something fundamental to how the marketplace is progressing. Maybe you've noticed something like that. Maybe it's time to move to a new marketplace. Maybe it's time to offer something else. And maybe it's time to just focus on lead generation and just get hundreds and hundreds of calls to become the master of a certain industry, which means you have a decent market share. So the first one we're going to cover, let me just write, I guess it's easier, is good old Upwork. So people ask me now to share this, by the way. They're like, Alex, we have enough people on Upwork already, and it's so scary because we don't want more competition. Well, Upwork is a $3 billion company, and if you want the biggest marketplace for services in the world, you just go on Upwork. It doesn't mean it's the best for everything and for everyone and for every situation, but it's pretty freaking amazing. So how does Upwork work? Sounds kind of weird. So Upwork.com used to be called Odesk, and Elance, they merged and became Upwork. So Upwork is a platform for freelancers. And people think, wow, freelancers, but I don't want to be a freelancer, Alex. I want to build a business and I want to outsource the work. How do I do that? I don't want to be a freelancer. Well, most people use Upwork as freelancers. And this is great for us because we can go on Upwork and hire freelancers. But it doesn't mean we can't get clients, agency clients, to buy high-ticket services on Upwork. Most people, they go on there and they're like, I have this service and I offer it for this amount of money per hour. The way to do Upwork properly is to go there and treat it as a funnel. So here's a very pretty drawing of a funnel, and you take a lot of leads from Upwork and you send them down there, you get them on a sales call, and then you make sure that you're talking to the most qualified. Let me try attempt drawing a star here. What the hell is that? That looks like the state of Texas in the United States. So people, they go on there and you need to basically be getting a lot of people through the messages and then on to sales calls as soon as possible. You can use software for this just to book calls with them, so you don't need to follow up with them, send reminders or anything like that. So you need to treat Upwork as if you're running Facebook ads for yourself, as if you have a lot of people that you can market to, and you're selecting the best ones, and you're getting them on sales calls so that you can close the hell out of them. Because once you have them on a sales call, you can do whatever you want. And I do mean whatever you want. You can close really high ticket sales on that. We had people close $20,000 sales on the first sales call. Usually doesn't go that fast with big sales. With smaller sales, it's very common to get a $2,000 retainer from Upwork for services like marketing services and like ads and lead generation services. Very common. Upwork is great for that. If you want to get an Upwork, create your profile like a landing page with the objective of getting people on calls. Now don't forget, it's a little bit hard to get approved on Upwork right now. So make sure that the service you're being approved for is currently not overpopulated and in demand for Upwork, because they don't approve just anyone entering for any service anymore. So be careful with that. So make sure that you're doing something that's not very common to get your profile approved. Very important. Do pay attention to how I said that, by the way. So let's go to the next platform, or rather funnel. So Upwork is great, and it's a fantastic lead source. Just amazing, fantastic lead source. You don't have to invest a lot of money in there. But another one we've been doing is called LinkedIn. Okay, so LinkedIn is, people use it to get jobs, and they get solicited by headhunters and stuff like that. And it's fantastic. It's, you stay in touch with some college people you don't really like anymore on LinkedIn, and it's great. And then your boss adds you there, and then maybe he kind of spies on you to make sure you're not hunting for a new job. But that's not how we use LinkedIn. Again, LinkedIn we use as a landing page to get people on calls. Are you starting to see the pattern here? We use it as a landing page to get people on calls, and on LinkedIn it's a little bit harder because the leads are a little bit colder. On Upwork, they were saying, hi, I want to have this service done, and please help me. On LinkedIn, they say, okay, I don't know who the hell you are, but you're reaching out to me, and you have all this stuff here. So what the hell do you want? And then you get them on a call by pitching them exactly what they need. So you need to have an offer ready, and you need to know who you're going to be selling it to before going on LinkedIn. Or when you get on LinkedIn, you can test an offer or test who you're going to be selling to. Test it very carefully, because Otherwise, you're wasting a bunch of time, which is okay, because LinkedIn can have a lot of automation. You can have teams of people running LinkedIn accounts, and you can basically funnel them onto sales calls. Works really, really well, but it's much more advanced. Sales calls are harder. Still beginner-friendly, though. I don't want to make it sound like it's completely crazy, but LinkedIn is fantastic, especially if you want to sell to big companies. If you make a deal with a SaaS, or you make a deal with like a service business and you want to do sales for them, lead generation, then you can go on LinkedIn and get billionaire companies to call you, basically. The best way to do LinkedIn is to first build an audience, and then to do content marketing. So content marketing. So build an audience, there's a lot of hacks for this, like tools and whatever. And then for content marketing, it's like kind of what I'm doing here, but in your industry, related to what you're selling. Really works fantastically well. My friend is getting companies like Cisco and banks and like big companies on calls, reaching out to him to do business with him because they saw his content on there. He's like a mini celebrity. He has 20,000 people following him, which was not very hard to do, by the way. So once he got there, now he's doing content and people are reaching out to him all the time. He doesn't have to like send proposals or anything like that. Very, very good for higher ticket sales, higher quality clients, but harder to close. So let's talk about the third one. The third one is, again, more beginner friendly. Even, well, you could argue even easier, but it has a run up, right? So the third one is going to surprise you. You're not going to like this. I think most people are not going to like this. So it's Fiverr, okay? Now, Fiverr is not your grandpa's Fiverr where you go to hire someone for $5 to edit a video for you. That's what it used to be. And then, you know, someone dances for you and sings your song or something like that. That's what Fiverr used to be. Now Fiverr is a professional services platform competing with Upwork. There's straight up competition with each other right now, 2019. So they even have a pro feature or version of it where selected people are offering high ticket stuff. So Fiverr, you start off by offering kind of tripwire services, like some kind of editing or some kind of ads, reviews and stuff like that. Now, again, I said it's not for cheap editing, and then I'm saying offer a tripwire. Here's the thing, that's not going to be your service. That's just the tripwire. That's just what you do to get people on calls later on. Fiverr is to get people on calls. Again, do you see the pattern? People don't understand. They use these platforms as if they're freelancers. The way to use these platforms properly is to get people on calls. Now, you don't want to be breaking any terms of use of Upwork, of course. So if you get them on calls, do it legally when you're allowed to, okay? So by the terms of use, of course. I don't mean legally. It's not illegal to get people on calls. But if you follow the terms of use, you're allowed to get people on calls whilst you're doing business with them. So once you get those low-ticket tripwire sales, then you're allowed to get people on calls, and then you can sell to them. So I have friends who do $150,000 a year just from there, and I have multiple funnels. Fiverr is just one of them. Works very, very well. Try it out. You start with low-ticket sales, comply with their requirements to get to higher tiers on Fiverr, and then you start getting inbound leads over and over and over. So if you implement this, if you have funnels like these, and they're running for you, you have leads coming in from Fiverr, you have leads coming in from LinkedIn, you have leads coming in from Upwork, what ends up happening is you have an agency that is not desperate to get people on calls, not desperate to get sales. You can choose. Once you have choice, you're not destined to be a slave to the system. You kind of have control. You start having power. You start building a real business. Because once you're controlling the system, and the system is not controlling you, and once you have the choice, that's when the roles kind of flip. And you're no longer just selling to the client. The clients are selling themselves to you. That's where you want to get as soon as possible. Let me just have a sip of water here, because I really want to emphasize this. You want to get to a point where you're choosing as soon as possible. Because as long as you're not choosing, then you're basically a freelancer, and you don't want to be there. You don't want to be stuck in a place where you're constantly working for people and they're telling you how many hours to work, what to do, how to behave, how to dress, and all that kind of stuff. That's not going to get you to any place where you want to be as an entrepreneur. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to build funnels that constantly generate you leads and constantly give you the choice that you need. Just like with anything else in life, choice is everything. And people who don't have choice, they feel trapped. And if you don't feel trapped, you can't even think straight anymore. So that's why you should run multiple funnels. That's why you should have at least one working funnel, but preferably 3 or 4. Not sponsored. Okay, so if you do figure this out, of course, it is quite amazing. Like, I've seen people go from tiny little agencies where they're barely surviving to doing hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So the upside is huge if you make these platforms work for you. So that's all I want to share with you today. You can take it, you can leave it, you can say it doesn't work. It doesn't really matter as long as you implement it. So if you do implement it, it does tend to work really well for people, right? So when properly implemented, people do quite well with these funnels. And these platforms are amazing tools. We didn't have that back when I started because it was just like cold calling and stuff like that, at best cold emailing. So I do recommend you use this. I do recommend you jump on board and spend a few months building up your Fiverr, a few months building up your Upwork, and then eventually doing LinkedIn as well. Highly recommend it. This is exactly what we do in the mastermind as well, called businessmentor.com or Business Mentor Insiders. That's the name of the actual mastermind. So thank you for watching. If you'd like more videos like these, subscribe, follow, do all that nice social media stuff. I do release them quite frequently. And also follow me or subscribe to me on YouTube if you haven't yet. And I'll see you in the next video or live stream.